Oh, isn't this the most wonderful time of the year? If you're new to this channel, my name is Susana and I love to create. And let me tell you, Christmas is my favorite season to do that. I am working right now on creating a Pool Noodle Christmas tree. Yes, you heard me right. A Christmas tree made out of pool noodles. Why would you say pool noodles for a Christmas look? Well, I love the translucent look that the pool noodles have. They're very inexpensive. They're also very easy to work with. Now, this is not done yet. I am still working with it, trying to figure out what I want to do with it, have a different container, and I'm making a green one as well. You can make them taller, you can create and make it according to your own color or your theme. But I just think that this is such a cute idea. I haven't seen this done by anybody else. I just love that translucent and whimsical and playful look you can create with pool noodles. So stay with me. Let's rewind a little bit and I'm going to show you how to make a pool noodle Christmas tree. First of all, determine the length and width or circumference of your noodle. And then that way you know what you're working with. In this case, I think mine are 7 inches wide and the length. These ones are 47 inches long. Once you have the length, then you know how long each branch is going to be. I got a paper, made my calculations, and since I have 5 green ones, that is gonna be taller, and I only have 3 white noodles, so that's gonna be a smaller one. When it's time to mark your noodles so you can do the different cuts, it's important that you use a color of pen or marker that will match the color of your noodle. You don't want a noticeable one like a black Sharpie. Try to disguise it as much as possible. Now, when you cut this down, make sure you cut as straight as possible down. Don't go to the side, one or the other, because you want a clean line. And I have this left over. Here you have all the individual pieces, 4 of each size, and your stem. What we are going to work on right now is getting these segments of pool noodles and turning them into branches. Now, you have 2 options, one that curves up and the other one that curves down. For this step, you open a Word document that has pages, go to Shape, and find a triangle. Bring it down, and depending on your size, you can make it bigger, wider, taller, skinnier. If you don't like that color because that's gonna waste a lot of color, go to color and just do white, but you still wanna see your triangle, so go to border, choose a line, and mine is 5 points. That's a good border to have. Now I highlighted, copy, and pasted 3 different triangles because I was playing around. And this is for the outward part of the stem. Then I measured the circumference of my pool noodle because I wanted from this point here to this end of the base to go exactly around the pool noodle and for these 2 ends to touch, so I get a straight line. Then you gotta decide, this is important, the angle. The taller the triangle, the bigger the angle and the more you're gonna cut. The flatter, the less you are going to make your angle. At the end, I ended up using 3 triangles. They all have the same width, which is 7.1 inches. It's the circumference of the pool noodle. And different heights, varying from 1.5, 2.5 inches, 4.1 inches, which gave me different angles, 20-degree angle, 35-degree angle and 45-degree angle. And I printed this in a cardstock because I was going to use this pattern several times. We are working right now to form this side of the branch. So what you're gonna get is your bigger triangle. Now this is the part where you wanna mark and cut neatly because this end is the most noticeable of the two cuts you're gonna be making on these noodles. So here we go. Now, when I came to use the bigger triangle 45-degree angles on the 4.5, I realized that if I was using this piece, I'm only left when I cut the stems and I cut the triangle out, I'm left with this part only. Use this little one, so when you cut this part out, you are still left with most of the pool noodle part. Here you have it, all 24 pieces cut. I put in from the angles and height of each triangle. So basically from 6.5 inches to 12.5, I used a bigger triangle. We are not done cutting. Now we have to cut this side of the noodle. And this is where I ask you to make the decision. Let me bring my prototype. Do you want the stem to go down, the tip, or do you want to go up? So how do you make this tip go down like this or go up like that? Is how you cut this area. For that, you are going to get your smaller triangle, which has a smaller angle. So if you trace it this way, notice it's gonna leave you more like a trapezoid shape. You're gonna have your tip up. But if you flip it around and you cut it this way, and notice we have more like parallels cuts, then you're gonna have your tip down when you glue it. Let me cut this and show you the difference. Notice on this one, the angle is facing this way. Notice in this one, the angle is more, both of the sides look like more like a trapezoid. And I will advise you to do this if you have a limited number of pool noodles and you know you can't find them anymore. I will make a prototype piece. Now this one, I like how it looks going down. Plus, I like the going up, the tip going up. So in order to do that, we have to, thank you again, we have to bring our first little triangle. This is turning into a math lesson. I wanna see the tips to the side. Both tips should be on the top, okay? In order to have both tips on the top, I am going to try to find the middle, and then find the middle. You see how that goes in there? Find the middle approximately. Top, tip, tip. Mark the part I don't want. Do that with all of them. Tip, tip. Make sure it's in the middle. And we are going to trace. Okay, it's time to cut. I have the X's, so this should be easy. Let's test each one. Yes. Now with the 4.5 and 3.5, I'm gonna leave that towards the end. And the reason why is because I don't know if I wanna cut it at the same angle as this one or a little bit less. Now we want to do is give this branch a little bit of a lift.
For this, I used landscape pins.
Now, I thought these were cheaper, but these are $7.40 with tax. And what you do is insert the pin. Make sure it is not visible from the top. Let me close it a little bit better. I guess I'm going to out. Now we're talking. And now we press and bend. Perfect. We're gonna do this with all of the bigger ones for now. If you think of another way of bending these tips, I assume if you have like a heating gun, might work as well. Wire, I tried pipe cleaners, they didn't work. Let me know. Let's share with me, with the community. That way, if we can save some money on making this project, that would be great. Now that we are done with this step, we are going to hot glue them to our stem. Now to do that, I'm going to use a sheet of paper and just mark it all around. Here we go. I'm going to put some glue. And hold it. The next one, we put more glue. Use that line we made before. Now we're gonna get the next row. These are the 10.5. And we're gonna go in between two of the other branches right on the top. And we're gonna do that. Make sure the tip is up. There we go. And again, we are going to hold until this is completely dry. Now we had to make the decision, what am I gonna do with the last two rows? The 4.5 inches and the 3.5. This is the 4.5. If I don't cut a angle, it's gonna look like this. At the same time, I think, let's see, 25. Will 25 be too much? Yeah, I'm gonna use for this one the same one, and then I'll let you know if I made a mistake or not. So I'm gonna do that. Let's measure it. I'm gonna cut it a little bit less. I'm not going to put, can you move a little bit? Let me hold it. I'm not gonna make it as exact of the 25-degree angle. I'm going to angle it less. Is there such a word? Angle it less. Let's see. Yeah, that looks great. Now, you can still use the pin. This is the 4.5 one. But if you can see that they come out, I guess you can try to connect that with a 3. So I'm not gonna do that. What I'm going to do is try to bend it. This is one of the last stop rows of the branches. So even without it, it still looks cute. Now, this is what I need to be patient. I am going to put the glue and I'm going to hold. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put one in this side and one on the opposite side in a couple of seconds. That way I can push both of them against each other and against the stem, and that's gonna save me some time. For some reason, I forgot to record when I cut the extra noodle part on the top of the stem. Just get your serrated knife and carefully cut the extra part. With the leftover pool noodles, I wanted to create some type of spirals or swirls to put on the top of the tree. You have a topper for your Christmas tree. This is one way of finishing your pool noodle Christmas tree. What are you doing? Are you trying to help? That's mommy's. Now for the white pool noodle Christmas tree, I had to be extremely careful. I only have 3 pool noodles left, so I had to be very exact with my measurements because I have no room for mistakes.
And a happy new year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a happy new year. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding.
Okay, now we gotta work on the stand.
We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until
Okay, for the stands, I already had these buckets. I got them at Hobby Lobby. I think they were 60% off after Easter. And this is what I'm going to measure and see which one I want.
Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a
Okay, these were from the Dollar Tree store, but during springtime. This is a good time to go and look and see what you have. You can always use spray paint or some kind of paint if you have something at home. I looked at Hobby Lobby and Walmart and the Dollar Tree store for buckets. I didn't find anything better than these ones. But shop around, look around, or find an old bucket that you can paint, even a gift box. A box can look cute on this, but right now I'm gonna play around and see which one I like. I was going to use the silver container for the pool noodle tree that is green, but since this is a little bit taller than that white one, I wanted a container that was a little bit bigger. I found this for half price at home. Also, I am going to paint it, and that's the reason why I wanted a shiny white one. I went to Hobby Lobby and I saw these papers. These colors are my inspiration. They're so pretty. And I was gonna paint this bucket, but I found at the Dollar Tree store, I found these sheets already have the glitter that I was looking for, and I have 3 to a package, and they're adhesive. I'm gonna use this one. Now this one is not adhesive. I am going to cut it and have to glue it, and then I'll deal with that, how to seal it. I don't want to lose the shimmer. Then I went to my computer using Pages or Microsoft Word. I created one diamond that I like, copied and pasted. That way this will be easier for me to trace into the paper, and then it will be easier just to do one long cut. So let's get to work. The glue gun because you can see the bumps underneath, so I'm just using regular school glue and see if this holds. If not, I had to go to the store and get something stronger, but it seems to hold. Okay, so what I thought it was gonna be easier ended up being more difficult, which is the sticker one. It's hard for it to stay there, but then I found this foam, which I like even better. The foam seems to be working great. It's actually the opposite. Once you glue it in there, you can move it. I searched my box of little embellishments that I have, and I found these beautiful stickers that are jewels, and I'm going to place them on each of the connecting diamonds with a hot glue gun. I don't like how this looks on the back. So what I'm going to do is I have extra foam, and I am going to make a bow. I just can't believe how easy and beautiful making bows with foam sheets is. So if you have never tried that before, this was my first bow ever with a foam sheet, and look how pretty this looks. Now that I have the container that I'm going to use for the green tree done, I like it much better, especially the back. This is so cute. Who knew that you can make foam sheets bows so easily? I recommend it. I'm gonna work on that for other projects. I am going to work on the one for the white pool noodle tree. I spray painted this container as I showed you, and then I went to Hobby Lobby and I got some fur ribbon. But if you don't want to spend the money on the fur ribbon, go to the Dollar Tree store, get yourself a Santa hat, and you can use the white fur from the hat if you don't want to do this. So I cut it to size, and I am going to hot glue it, and then I'll fold that. So let's get working on that. Now let's talk about the stands for your Christmas tree. The one that I have upstairs, it is a Christmas stand that I got at Where You've Been. Is an interesting store. I have a link to a video that I made that in the description box, and it was like $1 and something. However, I'm not gonna use that one because I wanted to do something that you can replicate just in case you can't buy one. So what can you use for a stand? The easiest thing is to use a wooden dowel, or even go to the Dollar Tree store and get yourself a with a broomstick, and you can cut it in half. Even a bathroom plunger, a new one please. Anything that you have at home, this is a good time to check through your closets and see what you can use to make a stand for the pool noodle. As long as for example, mine is a pipe with a tomato can and some plaster of Paris. As long as the pipe or the wooden dowel fits inside the pool noodle, you're set to go. You do not have to go and do what I did. I went to Walmart, I got me some plaster of Paris. I followed the instructions. The nice thing about this is that it's sturdy, it's heavy, so it's not gonna fall. Now, make sure your can fits inside of your container. Just be creative. You must have something laying around. I had pipe left over, so that's what I use because I know you can get some pipe. And I want you to be able to do exactly what I did, just in case you choose to do so. Now, I am going to spray paint this white, the pipe, because one of my Christmas tree, it is white and it's a little bit translucent. If you notice that the pool noodle, they're kind of translucent, and I don't want it to be seen from the inside that there is something darker in there. Plus it looks neater. I am first going to work with the white one, so let's put this one away. And you will need some glue. I'm choosing your spray adhesive because it's easier. And I am going to cover all these areas where you can see the hook. So for that, I'm going to spray paint even the top ones, because if you do something to those ones. So I'm gonna work with this one. And I have in here fine snow. Let's use that. And now we're gonna put it on the stand. Now I try to make the stand as straight as possible, but since it's going inside a container, we can always put something in the bottom if that's not the case. If for some reason you have difficulty putting the pipe inside the pool noodle like it happened to me, probably because the paint wasn't dry 100%, I'd use a little bit of coconut oil, butter, lotion, and that will help it slide better. Now we are going to work on those areas where you are able to see the glue. Now I'm gonna shake this around, and call me old school, but I don't like to waste. So I am going to collect everything from this cardboard and use it in the green tree. Have your theme that you're going for, I am going to start putting things together. The first thing is gonna go the baby tree, and I'm using some polyfiber pillow filler. Just get an old pillow that you're not using,